Are life outcomes shaped more by nature or nurture? It's often hard to tell as parents provide both nature and nurture. However, there's an interesting adoption program where children are essentially randomly assigned to parents. In other words, parents don't get to determine their children's genes, but they provide the childhood environment. HOLT International Children's Services runs an international adoption program in South Korea. In this program, the vast majority of prospective parents are effectively not allowed to choose their adoptee. They are not even allowed to specify a gender. After there is mutual agreement to adopt, the prospective adoptive parents are assigned the first available child. 2 studies, one in the US and one in Norway, have found that there is no correlation between adoptive parent characteristics and adoptee characteristics, suggesting that the adoption process is as good as random. Both studies focus on children that were adopted at infancy or early childhood, around 18 months or younger. In both Norway and the US, adopting families come in all shapes and sizes. For example, here's the wealth distribution in Norway, which was computed using several administrative data sets, including tax records that have information on income, assets, liabilities, and cash transfers. At the time of adoption, some parents have negative net wealth, and some have over $500,000. Also, adopting parents and non-adopting parents have similar wealth distributions. The study in Norway focused on wealth transmission across generations. It found that children assigned to wealthier families grew up to become richer adults. Adoptive parents at the 95th percentile of wealth will have children that are around the 60th percentile of wealth on average, while parents at the 5th percentile will have children that are around the 40th percentile. Parental wealth has half the impact on adopted children compared to non-adopted children, even when you study families with one adopted child and one non-adopted child. For every $10,000 in additional parental wealth, an adoptee accrues $2,500 more wealth by age 35. The researchers then studied why wealthier parents had wealthier adopted children. They found that direct transfer of wealth from parents could explain around 1/3 of the average causal effect. Everything else the researchers observed could explain very little of the effect. Hence, up to 2/3 of the wealth gap can potentially be explained by other childhood environmental factors that are not easily observed. Also, the more parents invest in stocks and risky assets, the more children invest, showing that the importance of childhood environment extends to investment decisions as well. In fact, an adoptee whose parents invest 75% of their wealth will invest 7 percentage points more of their wealth compared to an adoptee whose parents invest 25% of their wealth. Now let's talk about the US study. The US study focused on income, education, and risky behaviors like drinking and smoking. It found that children assigned to smaller families with highly educated parents had better life outcomes than children assigned to large families where neither parent has a college degree. For example, they were twice as likely to graduate from a college ranked by US News and World Report. Moreover, children are around 20 percentage points more likely to drink if they are assigned to parents who drink. In fact, among the outcomes studied by the researchers, drinking was the most strongly transmitted from parents to adopted children. It is transmitted with the same intensity to both adopted and non-adopted children. Education and income are transmitted less strongly to adopted children than non-adopted children, while height is only transmitted to non-adopted children. To summarize, the phrase like parent, like child is less true for randomly assigned adopted children compared to biological children, but it is still very true. Thus, providing a good childhood environment gives children a big head start in life. Both nature and nurture matter. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you like and subscribe. It will really help this small channel grow.